In a world where carbs are your enemy, you need one man to help you fight your battles. That man is Jimmy.
Combating nutrition disinformation and general bull. It's Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another Instagram Live, and we're here with another episode of Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com is a website. If you want to engage live in the content, you got to go follow me over on Instagram Live. I'm at Living Low Carb Man, LIVINLOWCARBMAN. Once you're there, you can engage live in the content, just like all these people are doing right now. Thank you guys for being here today on Jimmy Rants. If you missed the live, you can watch it on replay for up to 24 hours. After 24 hours, it does disappear. Pop on over to YouTube. That's where we're housing all the past episodes of Jimmy Rants. Just type in a keyword search Jimmy Rants, or better yet, go subscribe, youtube.com/livinglowcarbman. Finally, the best of the best moments of this here show, we make a podcast out of it. It's the Jimmy Rants podcast over on Apple Podcasts as well as Stitcher. All of these links, you guys, are at jimmyrants.com. Today's Jimmy Rants, we're continuing this theme of fasting. So if you've been following along all week long, you know that I issued a challenge earlier in the week asking all of my followers who wanted to join me that I was going to go on a 7-day fast. And not just any old 7-day fast. I'm going to go on a 7-day fast using water, salt, and electrolytes. And for a lot of you guys, you've never gone more than intermittent fasting before. So 2,000 of you said, yeah, I'll do that. I was like, what? So thank you guys for all the people who are participating in this fast with me. It's certainly, I hope you feel with these updates, I hope you feel the communalness of this fast. And there's something motivational. I mean, even beyond what I'm sharing with you guys, hopefully I'm helping encourage you in this, but there's something motivational knowing that there's other people going through the exact same thing you are with this fast. So I've been telling you about some of the information that's in my book with Dr. Jason Fung called The Complete Guide to Fasting. If you've not picked up a copy yet, it is available on Amazon, pretty much wherever you buy books. I was in a little bookstore here where we're at in North Carolina, and they got a copy of The Complete Guide to Fasting on their shelf. So, of course, I autographed it. And I told you about some of these, like, tools that can help you get through it. So, got the concentrated sodium and magnesium, like these fasting drops from Keto Chow. You can also get this on Amazon. You can also get the Redmond's real salt, or really peak Himalayan sea salt. Any salt will do other than man-made fake salt. So earlier today, I said every time we go on camera, we need to do a shot of salt. So everybody got your salt ready? Here it is, guys. Let's all get our salt. Sprinkle some out in your granny. All right. Dilly dilly. Okay. I stick it underneath the tongue. Somebody's like, why you do that? Gets in the bloodstream a lot quicker. So that's called sublingual. And if you haven't eaten food in over 24 hours, that tastes so good. It really, really does. So if you're late to the party, we are in day 1 of fasting. And for a lot of people, you started after your last meal yesterday on the 4th of July. And so some of you are approaching the end of day 1 and about to start day 2. Others of us, I ate midday yesterday, so I'm already into day 2 now. The symptoms of day 2, which we'll talk about tomorrow, don't really kick in until maybe 36-ish hours in. Between 36 and 48 is generally when I'm gonna have to drink some water because that salt is burning my mouth. Okay, 36 to 48 hours is generally when the kind of rough part, and even some people beyond 48 hours up to 72 hours into day 3 of the fast. That's the rough part. So I'm here to help you guys get through this. And so wherever you are in this fast, and some of you have been fasting for several days, more power to you. I want to try to be on schedule with as many people that are doing this live with me. So I am just starting day 2 as of about 4 hours ago. Day 2 started for me, 28 hours fasting and counting. And so what I want to talk about here today is there's certain little stuff that starts to happen, little side effects when you are on a fast, especially an extended fast, that maybe you're already experiencing. And if you're not already experiencing, I want to kind of bring your attention to, and I definitely want to hear some of the things that you're dealing with, and I'll tell you whether it's something that's normal with fasting or not. But the first thing that I listed there was these things called hunger hiccups. Am I the only one who gets hunger hiccups? I can always tell when I'm eating keto, I can always tell when it's almost time for me to eat, and I've gone a little bit beyond what that time is. I start getting these really loud, kind of hiccup things that go on. Am I the only weirdo that happens to? Hunger hiccups are a thing. And you're going to get some of those possibly when you are on this fast. And it's something not to be alarmed by. It's your body physiologically responding to not having food, and it's all good. Hunger hiccups, don't let it freak you out. If you've never had those before, it's actually a good sign that you are doing well. And you just write it out. Usually drinking a little bit of water will help them pass. So they don't last. You get little spurts of them here and there. I definitely got them. It was so amazing, almost like clockwork, guys. When I got to the 24-hour mark on my fast, my body is generally ready, because I eat 1 meal a day. My body's generally ready to eat. And so when that 24 hours hit on the Zero fasting app, it was almost like my body was like, all right, here we go. Time for food. Time for food, Jimmy. Time for what just happened. There's no food. I will tell you, I haven't had any hunger. And again, I've trained my brain and my body to know what real hunger feels like. I'm not even close to feeling hunger. Now, tomorrow is the concern that some of that will come on. But I will tell you, the longer I've done these fasts, the more of these fasts that I've done, that intensity that used to be there isn't near there anymore. And we'll talk about that more tomorrow. But if you're just joining us, we're talking about end of day 1. Perhaps you're starting to get some of these side effects that come from doing some fasting. And the first side effect I talked about was kind of the hunger hiccups, where you kind of, you kind of take in a lot of air. I know a few medical people are on here. Maybe they can explain what that is, but you get this natural kind of reflex in your body that you have, and it's affectionately called hunger hiccups, which is probably as disgusting a term as keto flu, because keto doesn't give you the flu, and I don't think those hiccups have anything to do with hunger per se. But we'll see what other people say here in a minute. Another side effect that I have felt today, just a little bit, despite salting, despite water, despite having various electrolytes in my body, is feeling spacey. Anybody felt that way yet? Or have you just kind of had have you felt that way yet? It's almost like you're tripping on some drug or something, but you're not. You're tripping on not eating any food. Fasting will do that to you. And it does get better, but there is this kind of like deer in headlights feeling that can happen. And of course, that freaks some people out too, because they're like, why do I feel like I'm like floating and like I'm spacey? And it's completely normal. Every single time I've gone on an extended fast, that exact thing has happened to me. And so, not something to worry about. It's an interesting feeling because it kind of chills you out, but you almost don't feel in the present either. It's almost that whole notion of you feel like you're looking down at yourself because you're just so spacey. You're kind of out of it. So Not necessarily a bad thing, but it's not a fun thing if you've never felt that way before. All right, what else? Somebody said, I think it was Beth earlier, wrote me a message on Instagram, and she said, I'm getting these really bad, like, guttural burps as well. And again, that's all part of the digestive system starting to just settle down. You're not giving it any food. It's used to having food. It's used to having to digest food. And when you're not giving it food, all of those things don't just suddenly stop. They're probably working, going, okay, I know the idiot up there is eventually going to give me some food, so let me start getting juices flowing and things moving. And then when it doesn't, hopefully those burps and things like that stop. So I'm real fascinated to hear what you are seeing is a manifestation. This short into the fast, maybe you haven't, but those of you that have been going at least 24 hours and beyond, have you noticed some of this stuff that I'm talking about? The hunger hiccups, the feeling spacey, the burps. Are there any other interesting side effects? Now, I will tell you this. TMI alert. You've been warned. I've gone to the bathroom a lot more already. And it could be a sign of me drinking more. So more water. But I've had to go to the bathroom quite a bit today. And I've not only urinated, but I've also had stool. And so the first couple of stools, which was ostensibly my food from yesterday, were normal. And then the last couple have just been, it's not been gross yet, but it's like, okay, I'm going, but I'm not going, if that makes sense. And so some stuff comes out, but it's not, I'm trying to be tactful about this. How do you talk about poop and crap without sounding disgusting? So I'm trying to be very tactful. Let's just put it this way. I've gone. Boom. And Norma even said, I can't quit peeing. And that's a good sign. And I've talked about this before. One of the things that this fasting is doing for you is it's helping you dump glycogen stores. Glycogen is where the sugar that would be in your body, even if you're not eating sugar in your diet on a ketogenic diet, you still have some sugar stores, glucose stores from the protein and the fat that you eat. And so once you don't eat any food at all, you're even dumping those stores out of the body. And what's in those stores with the glucose? It's water, it's salt, and it's electrolytes, which is why you dilly-dilly, and you take your salt, and you have the electrolytes as well. So all of these things are tools to replenish, but the side effect is you got to pee a lot, and you will pee a lot. And it's going to be interesting in the going to sleep tonight. What impact that having to go to the bathroom a little more is going to have. So pay attention to that, by the way. It'll be really interesting to get your report. Now, speaking of sleep, several people are like, well, you haven't really addressed the bad sleep that you get when you go on a fast. And the reason I haven't addressed the, quote, bad sleep that you get when you go on a fast is because it's not necessarily the fasting that's causing the sleep disturbance. Think about what sleep does. Sleep helps your body repair. It helps you recuperate. It basically does all of the rebuilding from the tearing down that you do throughout the day. So when you get in the bed and you haven't eaten and you don't have any food to digest and you don't have as much damage to your body from the foods that you would have eaten in a day, does your body have to repair as long? Nope. And so if your body doesn't have to repair as long, what does that mean to the amount of time that you need to sleep? That's right. It means you don't need as much. So people equate less time in the bed to I had a bad night's sleep, which is why I wear an Oura ring. This biohacking ring, biohackingring.com, by the way, if you want one. I use that as data to be able to see how good my sleep is. And last night's sleep was phenomenal, as I shared earlier on social media. But it's going to be fascinating. If I get less total sleep, but better sleep within that short amount of time, is that a bad thing? Nope. Now, some things that might stress people out to the point that their sleep is bad is you have added stress. And so it's one thing that I am trying to sing loud and proud all throughout this fast is Make sure you keep your stress levels in check. And sometimes that's hard. Sometimes you got a spouse that'll just try to work you up. You got kids that are driving you nuts. You got a boss at work that won't stop riding your butt. All of those things are stressors that when you are stressed and you're having to deal with that, you can't fast without having hunger and without having blah happening in your life. And it's going to impact your sleep as a direct result. So if you're having trouble sleeping as a side effect when you're fasting, just be aware it's probably not the fasting that's doing that, it's the stress. So try to deep breathing exercises. It really, really helps, guys. And meditation and really anything that will help lower that stress. Again, if you're just joining us, we're talking about some of the side effects that come from fasting. We're at the end of day 1 for most people. Some people into day 2. Several of you are already into day 3 and beyond. And some of you just started. So we've got all kind of people in all different levels. But with these updates, I'm going to try to speak to where we are in the schedule. And so where we are is the afternoon of day number 1. And you might be experiencing some various side effects like hunger hiccups, feeling spacey, maybe having some burps, so forth and so on. So I want to see what is it that you're seeing manifest and how can we help. So let me go back to the beginning and we will welcome you in. Welcome in. Thanks for being here on Jimmy Rants. Randy said, I fell off the wagon. I try but keep failing. How do I get back on? So off the wagon of what, Randy? Are you talking about keto? Are you talking about fasting? And if you're talking about fasting, what does failing mean? Tell me what specifically is happening and I'll be happy to help you. But you gave me a lot of tautology there that doesn't let me help you at all. So give me specifics. We're going to diagnose you here in a minute. Your fasting doctor has arrived. Just kidding. Let's see. Dilly Dilly is my dog's name, says Kimberly. Well, good. Dilly Dilly. Norma says, got my salt and my drops, feeling really good. Haven't done much, but I'm good. And that's the thing too. I think people think, well, I'm just going to have to stop my whole life. You don't stop your life, but you also don't go out of your way to overexert yourself in the middle of a fast. You got to be gentle with yourself, which is why going to the gym is insane. If you're going to lift heavy weights in the middle of doing a 7-day fast, don't do that. But if you want to go walk around the neighborhood, go for it. If you want to do some yoga, go for it. I think all of these kind of light activities, you want to mow your grass, go for it. But doing something heavy and stressful on the body, the fast in and of itself is a stress. You don't want to add more stress. Crown Kingdom says, how much salt and magnesium should I have on a daily basis? I'm taking it in through sea salt and cream of tartar. We've answered this question pretty much ad nauseum on every single Jimmy Rants lately. There is no set amount. The amount that's right for you is going to be very customized to your needs. So I say get it in your body. And then if you feel any symptoms, like we've talked about before, then you're going to take some more, okay? So I don't think trust me, if your body gets too much salt, for example, you're going to excrete it out. That's what'll happen. That just happened to me, the hunger hiccup, says Gina. Yes, see, guys, it's a thing. Nancy says, I just hit the 24-hour mark. This is the longest I've ever made it on a water-only fast. Great job. Definitely feel like I can make it at least 24 more hours. Thank you for the lives. They really help. Nancy, thank you for that. Make it more than 24 more hours. Because I so want everybody to get to that point where you're beyond the kind of pain phase of a fast, which is generally the first 2, maybe into the 3rd day for a lot of people. You get beyond that, all of these side effects that we're talking about here that happen early on, they're not there anymore. And to me, if I told you just get to day 4, if I told you that ahead of time, and I have been telling you that, just get to day 4 and trust me on this, make sure you're completely relaxed, make sure you got all the stresses out of your body, make sure you're amply salting and hydrating and electrolyting and all these things, that if you got to day 4, things would be dramatically better, would you go to day 4? You bet you would. So I'm hoping that my urging will encourage you, because I want you to push. And I know it's so hard if you've never done this before, but push to get to that day 4. And if you're still miserable on day 4, please bow out. Obviously bow out at any point that you don't feel well, but day 4, it's coming. That's the nirvana of all of this. Me failing keto, caffeine withdrawal, the struggle is real. You know, maybe that's not a bad thing, that you learn to live without caffeine. I'm not a big coffee fan, never have been, don't really like coffee. And I'll have a diet soda now and again, and I'll have things like that. But for the most part, caffeine does not rule my life. It amazes me how many people in the keto community, they don't have their coffee. And it's like, don't talk to them until they have their coffee. It's like, have we traded the addiction to sugar and carbs for an addiction to caffeine? Maybe. But hang in there. Maybe this will be a great way to get you off of the caffeine being on this fast. Lisa says, I have a huge headache because I'm missing my coffee. Yeah, all of that's real. Caffeine withdrawal headache. I mean, I don't think there's enough salt in the world that would help you deal with that, but just do the best you can. Norma says, I've not had hunger, had swishy brain feeling reading a good book. Yes. Swishy brain. So that's like the feeling Spacey. And you'll have those moments. I was out doing some errands earlier, and I was in a store, and I was just like, it's a weird feeling. But A Targata says, still on the edge of that headache. Yeah. For those of you that you switched from having coffee to not having coffee, that's going to be normal. And unfortunately, that's not a fasting thing. That's a withdrawal from your caffeine thing. Yeah. So maybe it's a good thing that some of you might get off of that this week. Mama 3 Chick says, also, I have a headache. Yeah. Sally says, 32 hours in, I did the 72-hour real salt one. This time I have a headache. I'm a little spacey. Having salt and electrolytes, I'm just not going to give up. And you shouldn't give up. Having these side effects are just a normal part of the process. Nothing bad is happening in your body. People are like, well, if you have hunger hiccups, if you have kind of spaciness, if you're having whatever, then that's a sign you need to be eating. You know, come on. Be real here. Just know that your body is used to various stimuli that you give it. And when you stop giving it that stimuli, in this case, food, at the regular times that it's used to, it's going to respond as if you're supposed to have given it food. This is the fun part about fasting. You're resetting so many kind of things that have become axiomatic in your life, in your food life, that your body's having to learn new tricks. And the last time I checked, when your body gets used to something, it becomes very complacent. And so if you're able to break some of that complacency, and you're able to switch things up by not eating for 7 days, when you start eating again, then you really have control over what's going on, because your body won't be necessarily sending you signals. You just send it signals for 7 days. Hey, body, I'm not going to be feeding you anything. So then when you start eating food again, do you think you're going to get all those same urges that you had at the various times of the day that you're used to getting food? No. You grab back control of that. And to me, that's the fun part of doing an extended fast like this, is you get to take back control. Because whether we believe it or not, even if we eat keto or not, your body does tend to dictate when you eat. And so if you've become very comfortable eating twice a day, one meal at noon and one meal at 6, guess what happens at noon? You get that knock at the door that says eat. Guess what happens at 6? You get another knock at the door that says eat. Anything knock you off that path? Let's say you try to skip the 6 o'clock meal. Is that good? No, because your body will rebel. Okay, we're used to it. So you're kind of messing up the schedule of your body, and that's a very good thing with this 7-day fast. Beth says, both when I'm stressed and when I'm fasting, I get these deep guttural burps that roll from the depths of my belly. Yep. I have heard other people say that, Beth. So you're not alone. Caption KC said, yeah, definitely had the space attack. It's the weirdest thing too, because you're just like tripping or something, man. I've never done drugs in my life, but if that's even close to what it's like to be high, I felt high today. Sharon says only 23 hours in. Not only 23 hours in, Sharon. You're 23 hours in. Good job. I'm getting headaches. Longest I ever fasted was 41 hours. This is what made me stop the last one. I've been taking salt, magnesium, and lots of water. Sharon, if you're used to drinking caffeinated like coffee or other sources of caffeine and you have given those up, that is not a fasting thing. So if you're not having those caffeinated things and you're getting these headaches, salt a little more, hydrate a little more, make sure you're getting plenty of hydration, which you say you are, and do all the electrolytes. You should not be having a headache from the fasting. Again, I think you're having a withdrawal from something that you normally have in your diet and your routine. So I would love to know, do you normally drink coffee and now you're not? Do you have diet soda and now you're not? What's going on? I feel that I'm always connected to space when I'm fasting, says Kitty Caddick. Yes, yes, it's a funky feeling. It's kind of fun though, but when you're trying to be in the moment with someone, it's not so fun because they're like, hello, where are you? Yeah, I'm up here in the clouds. So. Carnivore Heel says my legs tend to feel like Jello around day 2. So yeah, and what does for me, I sometimes will get hit hard with just a sudden feeling that I need to lay down. And it hasn't happened yet. Generally it's in day 2, so that's coming tomorrow. I may be doing tomorrow's Jimmy Rants from the couch. Just kidding. Halfway. Yeah, so not surprising that you would have some of that. A lot of that too is just mind over matter kind of things. It's the mental games. Our mind is trying to tell us, dummy, if you don't eat, you're going to be weak. If you don't eat, you're going to be hungry. If you don't eat, you're going to fill in the blank. And I wonder how much of that Jello-like legs, carnivore heels, has to do with that. Subalart says, yes, spaceship attack. Allie says, how do you navigate your social life when you're fasting? Food seems to go with events and being around friends. Yeah, you do the best you can. If you know you have some kind of a social event with people, that's some special event, then don't plan a fast around that. Now, I know I planned this fast for you, and a lot of you joined me because of that. But just in the day-to-day, I mean, if you go out with friends, you have a glass of water, and you put your fasting drops in the water, and you have your salt. And if it's a meal at somebody's house, put some salt into, I just had a hunger hiccup, that was funny. Put some salt into some water and eat it like a soup. I know you're going to be the weirdo, but it might open the door, if people ask questions about it, for you to maybe talk about why you're putting a priority on your health and how this will help. Definitely tell them about the Complete Guide to Fasting if they want to learn more. Education. Val says, I do get that spacey, floaty feeling sometimes just going 18 to 20 hours. Yeah, I guess because I OMAD all the time, 18 to 20 doesn't do it for me, because I always go 23 hours and 30 minutes between meals with my OMAD. And so because of that, I don't get it with intermittent fasting. It doesn't really kick in. It didn't really kick in today till I was past when I would have my next day's meal. So the 24 hours came, and it was about an hour later, when I would have already eaten by then and been done for a half an hour, that the spaciness kind of came on. Snoochie says, diarrhea, I feel like I have to, but I don't. And that will happen too. Sometimes in the midst of this fast, one of the side effects is you'll feel kind of these gurgles in your stomach, and you'll go on the toilet and you'll try to go and you don't. Sometimes, and it may happen especially as you drink more water and take more salt, you'll get on there, again, gross alert, but I'm trying to keep it real with you guys. You're going to feel like you're peeing through your butt. And I know that's gross to talk about. It is what it is, though. I don't want you to freak out about that. That does mean you probably had a little too much salt, so salt but not too much. But it's also the body's way of excreting out any excess nutrients. And so that means you got to replenish that water. If you, for lack of a better term, pee through your butt, you need to replenish that water. I told you we keep it real here on Jimmy Rants. I hope your kids aren't watching. This is gross. But you want to replenish that water. So keep drinking and get ample amounts of salt. Berkeley says, feeling good physically, it's more mental cravings. And Berkeley, that's a big side effect too. If you've never gone more than 24 hours without eating before, there is kind of this emotional attachment to, you just like the feeling of eating. And so don't neglect that, okay, that's there, but also know that it's going to be okay. Know that this is not something that's the end of the world. You're doing this for a period of time. But there is that emotional attachment. And especially for those of you that have kids and have a family and they're all eating together, it could be challenging because you want to be a part of that. But you can be a part of community, part of your friends, as a question asked earlier, part of your family without having to put food in your mouth. Make the conversation the focus. Make those connections with human beings the focus, not the food. Kyle says, any thoughts on eating salt and following with water rather than mixing it with water? Any harms? No, I just did that on camera like 20 minutes ago. So no, exactly do that, Kyle. That's great. Sue says, I only eat one meal a day at noon, so fasting is pretty easy until about day 3. I've gone as long as 5 days, but I'm challenging myself to do 7. Sue, if you've made it 5 days, 7 should be easy. You're going to find that this week. So I hope I see you towards the end to know that you made it all the way to the end. Cookie says, was listening to Dr. Berg's Q&A this morning. Had no idea this is the second time this has happened to me. My eyes were having some blurs and sticky and stuff. He said, fish, cod, vitamin. That's a general question, sweetie. We're doing hunger and side effects from fasting. That is such a general question. So please try to stick to the topic that we're talking about on Jimmy Rants. But if you want to write to me on a direct message, I'd be happy to help you with that. Select savory seasonings. I was surprised at the times I pooped during a 3-day fast. Yeah. It increases, guys. And when you go, sometimes you go, but you don't go. Sometimes you go and your body's like, okay, here's a little bit. And then you come back an hour later, okay, here's a little more. And then, of course, the going to the urination. We were watching a movie a while ago, and during the 2-hour movie, I went to the bathroom 8 times to go pee. Normal, dumping, glycogen. Caption, KC, feels like I spent the day in the bathroom or almost scared to leave the house to walk the dog. Maybe the dog should be walking you. Nancy says, do you add the fasting drops to all the water you drink or just if you feel weak? I have kept it in here all day. When this goes all the way down, I refill it back up. I've been putting about 10 drops into this size glass. And yeah. Been working for me. I've been feeling that floating feeling, and yes, using the restroom a lot. Did teach cycle this morning and I felt really good. Awesome, Cookie. That's great. Kitty Caddick says, only one thing, no salt for me, even on a 12-day fast. Otherwise, I swell up like a balloon. Used to be so many times, but just water works for me perfectly fine. Reverse osmosis filter with minerals. Well, you know that about yourself, Kitty Caddick, and I think that's great. I think the mistake a lot of people make when they come into a fast is they do nothing. They do only water, and maybe they're the kind of person that needs salt. They need minerals, and they need all of these things, electrolytes, to help balance things out. So that's awesome that you know that about yourself. It probably means you're sufficient in your sodium levels, and you don't need to add any more. Most people are deficient in a lot of these electrolytes, which is why they have to supplement. Beth says, I'm realizing that some of the habits and cravings today, as soon as I pull up to home, I want a buttered and stevia sweetened salted coffee. I'm still alive without it. Yes. Yes, you are. Working on meditating, says Cookie. Good. Berkeley says, little headache from caffeine withdrawal. I'm taking salt, hydrating, but still a little bit of a headache. Yeah. I don't think all the salt in the world, all the hydration in the world is going to overcome a headache that comes from caffeine withdrawal. I felt the tightening band of caffeine in my, withdrawal in my head, cured it with 6 ounces of black coffee, along with some extra insight about my caffeine dependence. Yeah, that's good. Gina says, I think we should have a water drinking game. Drink water when Jimmy says salt. Oh, you've started something, Gina. Salt. And if only you could get enough salt. And if you don't, salt. I'll stop now, but you started that, Gina. Beth says, I'm extra positive I will never become dependent on black coffee. It's the buttered salt and salt. Sweeten that fuels binges for me. Gina, you have created a monster. Crown Kingdom Builder, thank you for answering my question. First time Jimmy listener. Well, welcome. I'm glad you are here. I want to feel what day 4 through 7 feels like. Anita, I so want that for all of you. You get to that point, you are going to want to hug my neck, because that's the pay dirt of going through these first few days. We're just on officially day 1 for most people. Day 4 is going to be party time. I'm pushing for 7 days, but my mindset works better one day at a time, sweet Jesus, says Nancy. Good luck, everyone. I can't right now. I'm leaving on a business trip. Well, do it when you can, Charlie. You won't believe that at 4:50 a.m. Ann says, I have tachycardia, dizziness, and headache that my husband wanted to take me to the ER. Drank 3 bottles of water in a row, put real salt in my lips, and I felt bad all day. Ann, end the fast. End the fast, Ann. Don't go any further. End the fast. You guys watching me respond to Ann here, listen to what all happened. All of those things to the point that she felt like that she needed to go to the ER. End the fast. Those aren't side effects you want. Okay? End the fast right now. And then try again down the road. But none of that is good. If you get to that point, guys, that is the point that you need to say, look, common sense kicks in. I'm ending this fast. All right? I know you're disappointed, but it's the right thing. Yes, I want to be completely in control of this hunger, says Gina. Yep, and that's what this fasting does. All this water and salt, you feel like my skin is already less shrivelly. Which magnesium did you say to get, says Mama? So I didn't. All forms of magnesium are probably okay, except for magnesium citrate. Magnesium citrate is the one that gives you poopy pants, and you're already having issues in the bathroom. You don't want to add more poopy pants issues. So magnesium oxide, magnesium glycinate, and then there's magnesium in these fasting drops from Keto Chow, so you can definitely get those as well. Rachel says, what about a before bedtime routine for electrolyte balance while you're sleeping? Great question. Get you some water with some of like the fasting drops. That's something you can do. If you don't have the fasting drops, try to get a liquid form of magnesium about an hour before bedtime. Take some of that because it will help you sleep as well. I would also make sure that you keep whatever salt that you have. For me, it's the Redmond's Real Salt, but whatever salt you have by your nightstand so that when you get up to go to the bathroom, ostensibly you will, I want you to take some salt, stick it in your mouth, follow it up with some water every time you get up to go to the bathroom, because you want to stay electrolyte sufficient. And during the night is when all this susceptibility for some of these symptoms can start to come on. And you'll ward off those symptoms that might disrupt your sleep if you salt up when you get up. That makes sense? Hashtag salt up when you get up. Caden says 24 hours now, fine so far, good. Gina says deep breaths are getting me through the perceived hunger. Yep. Sharon says, I'm sure the headache is from the coffee and the Coke Zero. See, there it is, Sharon. See, I didn't even have to know that to know that. Scary in a way that stopping these things has thus this kind of effect on your body. Yeah. I don't think people in the day-to-day of even eating keto realize some of the habits they've allowed to come in. And one of those things is a coffee habit, diet soda habit. If you enjoy those things in the day-to-day, that's great. But I love the idea of being so completely in control that if I could give up something on a whim, I could. And if you give up something like coffee or diet soda and you start to have manifestations of withdrawal, are you in control? Nope. So it's probably a good idea that you're going through this. Just get through the headache now, the withdrawal, because it doesn't last forever. I've had those kind of withdrawals from diet soda before, and they're not fun. It's usually like a real deep pain right in the temple, and you feel like you got a migraine headache. But it does tend to go away after a day or two. So hang in there. I sat with my husband at lunch, says Snoochie, drinking my water. See, you don't need the food to have that communal experience with the loved ones in your life. You don't need food. Anita says, I also quit Facebook for the week because all the pictures were so hard. Yeah, there's a lot of people that are fasting, not just from food this week, but also Facebook. I'm glad you're not fasting from Jimmy Rants, because hopefully I'm giving you some really good inspiration and information as well as encouragement on this fast. Jan says, trying to avoid looking at all those delicious keto recipes that are posted. They're going to be out there, guys, so just know that. Yeah, because not everybody's goal is fasting. Beth says, I feel I'll surpass the no more than a gallon a day with water. Are the rules for that different on a fast? Yeah, you probably are okay to have a little more water than you normally would. I get satiation from drinking water. Now, that means you're going to pee more, but it also means that if you have those bits of hunger, bouts of hunger that start to come on, drinking the water can quell some of that. I remember telling my dad that one time that I was fasting, and he doesn't understand any of this stuff. But I told him, I said, yeah, and when you drink water, it actually can fill up your stomach. How does water fill up your stomach? I'm like, Dad, where do you think it goes? Does it like drain out of my ears? No, it goes to your stomach. So you fill up your stomach with water. Is it the same as food? Obviously not. But if you get the sensation of fullness from drinking water in your stomach, that's just enough to maybe get you beyond some of the hunger pangs or the perceived hunger pangs like we talked about this morning that start to happen. And then you get the benefits of fasting. Ray says, I'm a newbie here. What does the fasting drops do or help with? So it is great question, and welcome, by the way. It's concentrated forms of sodium and magnesium. And so the guys at Keto Chow, go check them out, ketochow.xyz. They also made a Jimmy Loves ketochow.com because I do love their products. They did this one specifically for people fasting because it has higher levels of sodium and magnesium. They do have an electrolytes drops as well that has a mix of those two things plus potassium. And several people are like, well, what about potassium when you're fasting? Do you need to supplement with that? And Dr. Fung and I actually addressed that in the Complete Guide to Fasting, that when you get ample amounts of sodium in your body, that the body has a great way of adjusting levels of things like potassium without having to take exogenous sources of potassium. So that's why the fasting drops from Keto Chow only have sodium and magnesium, and it's not a bad thing. Can you drink too much water? Sure you can, Berkeley. And you don't want to drink too much water because that also will deplete your body of some of these electrolytes. So it's finding the right amount of water that's going to quench your hunger and give you the adequate amount of hydration. But also you don't want to drink too much, but you don't want to drink too little. I think you're more apt to underdrink and be dehydrated of water than you are to overdrink. Now, what you're doing is you're not guzzling. You guys have noticed when I started, I was right up here. I've been on this for about 45 minutes now. I was right up there, and now I'm down to here. And within the next 45 minutes, I'll be all the way down, and I'll refill it again, and we'll do it again. I'm sipping. I should have said salt first. I'm sipping the water. You're not guzzling it. So sip it throughout the day, and you get as much water as you need. Tony says, I believe the magnesium oxide makes you go to the bathroom rather than citrate, as you stated. Now you have me thinking. It's definitely citrate. Look it up. Yeah, it's definitely citrate. Magnesium oxide and magnesium glycinate are the two forms of magnesium that I think are best. How about sparkling water? Juliana wants to know. Yep, that's still water. No flavored ones, though. As we talked about this morning, the flavored ones can be a detriment to your hunger because they do possibly raise insulin, the artificial sweeteners. So yes, sparkling water, if it's just bubbly water without any flavoring at all, then yes, it's perfectly fine. Snoochie says, I just came up with an idea. Eat salty ice. Ew, that sounds disgusting. Just kidding. Ice will help you if you need something to chew. Good point, Sharon. Although, I don't know how good it is for your teeth, so any dentist watching this, I did not recommend chewing ice. But yes, it can give you that sensation of eating something if you need that. Although I think it's better if you don't have that sensation of eating, because when you crunch on ice, you're basically telling your brain, I'm eating something, so it starts producing these digestive enzymes. And then when there's no food, what does that enzyme do? It's going to stoke hunger and stoke cravings, so may not be a good idea. Somebody asked about chewing gum earlier too. Same thing, the artificial sweeteners, number one, but then the chewing process activating all those digestive enzymes. When there's no food to digest, it's going to make it more problematic for you, so don't do that. B. Parkman says, here's a quick tip. As the week goes on, don't binge watch the Food Channel. No Food Network this week. No. All right, guys. So the bottom line in this Jimmy Rants, you're at the end of day one. Officially, that's where we are anyway. And you're going to have some of these manifestations of side effects start to possibly happen. Things like hunger hiccups, feeling spacey, other such side effects, interesting bathroom habits. Go back and watch it earlier if you missed it. But you're going to get these side effects. They're completely normal. I think sometimes when people haven't experienced this before, they freak out when some of these things happen. Oh, nobody else is dealing with it. Yeah, we are. We're all dealing with it. And I've done 1 million of these longer fasts, and I deal with it on every single one. And I want you to view all of these side effects not as a negative thing, but as a sign that you are moving your body in the right direction with this fasting. Okay? So it's a great sign. You're doing a really good job. I'm hearing from so many of you. A lot of you guys are tagging me in Instagram stories and on your Instagram page. Keep using that hashtag water fasting challenge. Please tag me at Living Low Carb Man. It's really cool to see so many of you enthusiastic about it. And guys, tomorrow's day 2. Tomorrow is the hell day. If you get past tomorrow, you've gotten past the worst part of the fast. And I'm going to be on here twice for you guys tomorrow, talking all about some of the things that you can do to overcome some of the day 2 woes. It's hard. Going to prepare you now. I hope you're ready for that. I don't want you to be scared about it, but I also want you to be aware, because if you're aware, then you can be prepared. I'm giving you the cheat sheet about how to get past day 2 of a fast. You'll be glad you did. Enzymes rev up ghrelin gremlins for me, says Beth. Yeah, that they do. Norma says, not having gum has been my hardest due to medications. I have dry mouth. Yeah, it's tough, but hang in there. Today has been great, says Melody. Excellent. Anita says, thanks for your help, as does Beth. Thank you, guys. Guys, you've made this so pleasurable to do. I love the whole teaching aspect of this, because that's kind of my heart and my jam, what I love to do and what I think I'm pretty good at. And so thank you guys for giving me somebody to teach this week. And we'll keep coming back. I'll keep thinking of ideas, keep sharing your ideas, and maybe we'll use that on the air. Melody says, what's your impression of the green fasting teas? Yeah, I mean, if green tea helps you, then by all means, there's no sugar in it. It's probably a good idea. So go for it. Will electrolytes help with my dry mouth? It helps with dry eyes. Maybe, Beth, maybe. We'll see. Amy says, I miss food, LOL. More tired from yesterday. Makes me want to snack, but holding on. And a lot of that's just your mind playing games with you. You're not physiologically hungry this quickly. Nope. Unless you're allowing stress in your life, which is why I'm saying just chill. In fact, maybe one whole Jimmy Rants, I will come on here and we'll just do a meditation session live on Jimmy Rants, where I'm like, okay, everybody, close your eyes. Deep breaths through your nose. And hold it. Now release. See, I can do that crap. I'm actually feeling beast mode right now, says Beth. Yes. Amy says, just tired, no sleep, kind of tired. Well, you need to sleep, sweetie. Get the sleep. All right, I better pop off of here now, guys. That's it for this episode of Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com is the website. If you want to engage live in the content, you got to go follow me over on Instagram Live. I'm at Livin' Low Carb Man, LIVINLOWCARBMAN. Once you're there, you can engage live, just like all these people did here today. Thank you guys for all your engaging comments here today on Jimmy Rants. If you missed the live, you can watch it on replay for up to 24 hours on Instagram. After 24 hours, it does pop over. We actually get it on pretty quick. Less than 24 hours, but it's on YouTube. If you want to go check it out, type in a keyword search Jimmy Rants. You will find the show, or go to youtube.com/LivinLowCarbMan. Finally, the best of the best moments of this here show, we got a podcast for you. It's on Apple Podcasts and Stitcher. It's called Jimmy Rants, of course. All of these links, you guys, are at JimmyRants.com. Day 2 is coming. Are you ready? Day 2. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.